Dallas Gilbert, a name that is probably very familiar to Bigfoot enthusiasts. And if you're not a Bigfoot enthusiast, you ought to look him up. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about him right now. First, he's now passed away. Dallas passed away in, I think it was December of 2016 from lung disease in his mid to late 60s. But Dallas was quite the celebrity in Bigfoot circles around the United States. He was also featured in several Bigfoot documentaries, and even he and his partner Wayne Burton were filming their own series that ran, I think, 2 seasons. So there's a lot of material out there on Dallas, written and in video format. But about a year and a half ago, on a website, a podcast, I heard a story about Dallas Gilbert that confuses me and has really piqued my interest. The story, and this is the only place I can find this story, but it goes something like this. Dallas and Wayne are out doing some research and they're placing microphones in the woods. Now, this was a few years back before we had digital recorders. Wayne is around the corner or back a little bit, and Dallas is up ahead planting a microphone, I think at the base of a tree, when a Bigfoot reaches out and grabs Dallas by the neck and twists his head as if to break his neck. This renders Dallas unconscious, and Dallas is picked up by the Bigfoot and is being carried off. Not long after, Dallas apparently comes to. His neck isn't broken. He's just unconscious, and he realizes what's happening to him. Carrying a sidearm, he reaches down, pulls his pistol, and shoots the Bigfoot twice, causing the Bigfoot to scream and drop him and run off. And Dallas makes it back to the road and is okay, but is tormented by the memory of this event for the rest of his life. The person who told this story, the only place I've ever heard this story, says that he thinks that this is probably the only episode that he knows of where a human survives an actual Bigfoot attack. Not contact, but an attack. Now, when I heard this story, I was very interested because it is a spectacular story. I mean, it really is a spectacular story. And so I began to do some research on the internet. Dallas apparently is not a writer. All of his documentation was in photographs and videos, namely photographs. I think he had thousands and thousands of photographs that he would share with other researchers. So we don't find any written account from Dallas about this episode in his life or about this Bigfoot attack. The way the story survives is it was passed on to the person in the podcast, and his name is Coonbo Baker, Tim Coonbo Baker. And this showed up on a Bigfoot Outlaw Radio podcast, which I'll link below and you can listen to it. And, matter of fact, it's in the first part of an hour-long podcast, so you don't have to wait long to hear the story. But again, there's no record from Dallas on this event. It's only word of mouth to a couple of other Bigfoot researchers. Since then, I have searched and searched and searched the internet, which is really, with Bigfoot topics, is the only place to do research. There's just not much about Bigfoot in the library. So, and I can't find this story anywhere. Now, I've watched all the episodes that I know of that Dallas has been a part of in his TV show, and I've watched all the documentaries I know of, so I feel like I've kind of got a feel for his personality. And let me just stop here and say, Dallas seems like a great guy. He's just a working dude. Dallas had to quit working due to an injury. In one documentary, he states that he really misses the guys he worked with. He missed working. He wished he was back working. He was always friendly with anyone who wanted to talk to him. He never had this air of superiority about him, like you might imagine some researchers being that way. He was just a nice guy, and his buddy Wayne is the same way. They're just good, down-to-earth, really super nice people, just run-of-the-mill people who were just eat up, I mean consumed with searching for Bigfoot. And watching and keeping up with his videos, Dallas gives several interviews, and in one interview he is asked, in a room full of people, how he feels about some of the Bigfoot people who are out there hunting Bigfoot, trying to kill one and recover a body for evidence. And his answer is, he's very adamant that he's against that. Matter of fact, he very strongly disagrees with that tactic. Other interviews that he gives, he just seems like he's a passive man when it comes to violence against these animals. He looks at Bigfoot almost as if they're a human. I think he even says at one point, he goes, they just have a different exterior than we do, but inside they're just like us. Their DNA is the same. They have the same thoughts, feelings, and emotions as a human does. So Dallas looked at Bigfoot as our counterparts in the wild. I thought I'd share with you that story. The story of Dallas shooting that Bigfoot is, as far as I know, only recorded in this one episode of a Bigfoot Outlaws radio show. If you have any evidence or any knowledge of this story being told or shared anywhere else, because I surely have not listened to every podcast out there, why don't you comment below and maybe tell me where you found it, because I would love to hear it from a second source. It would make the story even that much more interesting to me. Okay, thanks for watching today, and we'll see you guys on the next video.